Hello friends, welcome back to the Craft Castle. My name's Ashley and I'm back with another laser machine unboxing. If you have been around or have watched any of my unboxings or videos, you will know that I am a laser machine hoarder, grade A. That being said, this unboxing is going to be like no other that you've seen before because I'm going to be directly comparing this machine to one that is currently in my craft room that I've had for a couple years. Why am I doing that, you're asking? Well, the machine that I'm going to be comparing it to has given me a lot of headaches. And for the amount of money, I just feel like it may or may not be worth it. That being said, I did find a more affordable machine that has more functionalities on paper. So we're going to put it to the test. Is this one going to be better than the one that I've had for a couple years? I don't know, but we're going to find out. So this unboxing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into what this has versus what the other one has. Then you can make a decision on yourself on which machine or brand that you're going to buy. So inside this box is a Xtool P2, and the machine that I'm going to be directly comparing it to is my Glowforge Plus. All right, let's get started. This is the P2. Already, I can tell you that this thing right here is bigger than the Glowforge. And I actually cheated because the packaging for the P-Tool is very simple. It just hooks off to the bottom. So my husband was so smart and just said, here, put the top on there. So that's all the unboxing. That's it. So remember what I said, that the Xtool P2 is actually larger than the Glowforge. So the Glowforge is a total of 30 inches long, and this is 39.5 inches. So you are definitely getting a machine that is a lot bigger. 9.5 inches larger on the length. The other thing too is that the depth of the machine is a little bit longer. This one right here is roughly 23 inches, where the Glowforge is 20.5. So it's not that much bigger in the width of this, but just know it is a little bit deeper. The height for this one sits at about 12 inches. And the Glowforge sits at 8.25. Now, when I took this out of the box and I took the box out there, I instantly saw this sticker at the very top. This sticker says, add antifreeze. Now, it does come with antifreeze, so don't panic, because I definitely panicked. I was like, oh my gosh, we don't have antifreeze here. But it comes with antifreeze. It says that you have to fill up the tank with antifreeze. I can tell you right now with the Glowforge, there is no antifreeze. You don't have to fill anything in. It's already inside the tube. Now, I have seen, not me personally, I have seen when new Glowforge owners get their machine that they have a crack in the tube or it's leaking fluid or whatnot. Is it a benefit that it's already put in the machine? Probably, because you're not going to have to do it yourself, but there is a chance for something to happen during shipment and that tube crack and then you don't have any antifreeze. So just know you are going to have to put some antifreeze into your laser. And you know, as I sat here talking, I was thinking, that's actually smart because I'm on my 4th Glowforge. Let's just be transparent here. I've had 4 Glowforges in less than 4 years. I have not purchased all 4. I've purchased one and had a crappy run of bad Glowforges apparently. But one thing that I do know is with my first Glowforge, they had told me that the coolant had ran out of my tube, and meaning my tube was worn out. Whatever the case may be. Maybe it's nice that we are allowed to put antifreeze in these tubes. Is it a benefit that we can add in as we use our machine? We can add in more antifreeze because there's not an option to do that on the Glowforge. Okay, also it says don't plug it in before you put that antifreeze in there. So we're not gonna do that. We're gonna open it up here. Okay. Quick start guide. That thing that said about the antifreeze, it said start here. Don't go anywhere else besides there. So the Xtool, there's some little bit of setup. The instruction manual so far has been really easy to read, and there's instructions actually placed inside the machine, like remove this screw. And there is a little thing that says remove this screw. So this is what the tube looks like. It tells you to check it. This tube looks almost similar exactly to the Glowforge tube. And it says just to check to see if there's any cracks or anything. Everything looks good. Then this is where things are going to get a little dicey. The Xtool comes with a funnel and then a whole big old bottle of antifreeze. In here it says you need to determine your concentration level. I'm gonna ask my husband what we need for this. I need some assistance on brains here. But this part's making me nervous. If you just want to read this directions.
Alright, so what are we doing here?
You got this, Bruskies. Alright, I put your funnel in. Alright, Boo, I believe in you. It's not cutting out from the bottom, so. Okay, so then
what?
The next directions say connect the machine to the power supply and turn the machine on.
Okay, so this needs shut off or closed off.
I mean, it doesn't say that.
It shows the cap on, baby.
Okay, that's fine. You do you, Boo. What happened?
Cramped.
Oh, you got cramped? I thought you got electrocuted! Oh my gosh! I'm not gonna get electrocuted.
I had a cramp.
I seriously thought you got electrocuted. I was like, oh my gosh.
So what does it tell me to do?
Just pour it in. And it says ignore the water level to avoid overfill.
Okay.
It's really quiet.
And where is the tray?
No tray. And
It
it's
says
supposed to...
prohibit to use without the tray installed.
Well, oh, the tray is installed, but not like a honeycomb tray.
Oh, okay. I was just making sure, because...
But like, it's supposed to have slats. And there's no slats. Then I'll show you what I'm talking about. Maybe it's in the box, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like there's slats.
Yeah.
Sure. So, I don't know if you want to operate it without them.
Well, I can't operate it without it. Okay, friends, you were going to notice that I'm in a completely different outfit, and that's because this is recorded on a very separate day. So, let's revert back to stopping where we stopped and doing the antifreeze. My husband was filling up the antifreeze tank because I just was not feeling confident on that. As he was doing that, I was at the front of the machine just looking around and I was reading the directions, and I came to realize that I am missing a key part to working the P2. If you don't have this part, then you can't work the P2. So I had to contact customer service to get this part. Before I get into the part that I was missing, I want to just pause here because unboxings to me are the most difficult videos there are. I struggle with viewers wanting a professional unboxing. This is exactly how it's going to unbox. You're going to be able to get to moving and grooving right out the gate, and I encountered no issues and you're not going to either. I'm sure that's what a lot of people want. However, here on my channel, I like to keep things 100% transparent. What that means is I am missing parts out of my P2. So how did I do? What did I do? How do I move forward, right? Because I like to think that I'm a brand new user at this. You're watching me because you probably are a brand new user at this. If there is an error that has been encountered with me, maybe you'll have the same error. And so I always like to keep the good, bad, and ugly in every single video, because if I encounter that error, you're going to watch me try and overcome that error. So if you're encountering it, you'll also be able to overcome that error too. Don't get frustrated. My fix for the missing part is very simple. All I had to do while my husband was filling up the antifreeze tank is I just got on my phone and I sent Xtool a message saying, hey, I'm missing some slats. Here's some pictures. Can I get my slats so I can use this machine? Now, please remember that Xtool customer service is based out of China. So I am on the Eastern Seaboard. So if it's 9 a.m. my time, it is 9 p.m. in China the following day. So if you don't hear back from them right away, it's probably because they may be sleeping. Now, since we're comparing Xtool to Glowforge today, I can tell you that in the less than 4 years that I have owned a Glowforge, I have contacted Glowforge customer service actually quite often. And years ago, you would contact Glowforge customer service and it would be weeks for you to get a response. Weeks, I'm not joking. However, today, at today's time, Glowforge customer service is all online based. They are based out of Seattle, Washington. for their customer service, but they have a response time about the same as Xtool, about 24 hours. So even though the Glowforge customer service is based out of Seattle, Washington, you will still have to wait about 24 hours to hear a response from them. So if you're trying to compare companies based on customer service, both customer service kind of has the same exact response rate. Now, the part that I was missing, if you don't have this part in your Xtool and you don't have a honeycomb tray or a riser, you need to contact customer service. The part that I am talking about, and it's going to seem so minute, but it actually is very huge, is something that looks like this. These are slats. So in the Glowforge, you are going to get something that looks like this. This is called a honeycomb tray. This right here is your material bed size. Keep that in mind. We're going to go over that here in a second. So this is going to be your honeycomb tray. This is what you cut on. Every single material that you use, you cut on this thing right here. This comes included with your Glowforge. Now, what gets included with your Xtool is these slats right here. Other laser companies also, because I do have a few, some work on slats, some work on honeycomb. This isn't a what's better, it's just how the machines are built. So Xtool P2 has slats. Glowforge has honeycomb trays. So it's going to be hard to tell, but there is going to be these slats right here. And these should have came with your P2. So these slats hook into the grooves that are on the very back right here. Because everything is just black, it's going to be hard to tell. But when you first get your P2, you're supposed to have these slots and they go in every other slot. Now, that being said, when you have smaller materials, you can remove these slats and move them over because they have grooves and you can make tighter grooves. So now the largest difference between the two is that you're going to have slats that are going to have a little bit of apartness. So if you are working with really, really small material, these right here, it'll fall through. However, all you have to do is remove your slats to pick up your objects because you can put your hand underneath that. When we talk about the Glowforge honeycomb tray, here is the honeycomb tray. Do you see how now the honeycombs are really small? So the benefit to that is that your stuff isn't going to fall down underneath this. There has been a couple times where I have made like acrylic signs and stuff like that, and like the little dots of the eyes, they fall inside of these cracks, and that is a problem because you cannot access this entire thing. You have to shake it out from the bottom and it's going to be messy. So there is pros and cons to both of this. The other thing too is when you're working with any type of material and you're cutting it, a lot of times you get like a flashback, and that means that the laser is hitting the metal and the metal is flashing back. So the more metal, the more chances of flashback. So the less metal, which is what these slats are, the less chances of flashback. Okay, just to get us started, I'm going to put my slats into every other slot, just as if this was here to begin with. Okay, so now let's talk about bed size, because size matters, y'all. If you want to be able to cut large things, size does matter. Going back over into the Glowforge honeycomb tray. Remember what I said, everything that is in this honeycomb right here is what you're going to be able to cut. Now I have a piece of Glowforge proof grade material. These materials fit right into the honeycomb tray. You're going to see it's going to be nice and snug. So this sheet of acrylic is what I'm going to be able to cut right here. Okay, if you were to put this same piece of acrylic into the Xtool, you are going to see visually that we actually have a lot of extra room. So the Glowforge Plus and Pro all have a bed size of 19.5 by 11.5 inches. Xtool P2 has 23.6 inches by 12.1 inches. So you got about 4 inches extra over here. And then you have about 5 inches extra over here. So the P2 bed size is definitely larger. That being said, the Glowforge Pro does have a pass-through feature where you can do it like indefinitely long. The P2 already comes with that feature. You would have to get a base riser, They also do have like a conveyor belt that you can buy to make things easier. So just know that if you are interested in a Glowforge Pro, because of the extended feature, the P2 already has that capability. Okay, now that we've gone over pretty much everything, let's turn on our P2 and potentially do our first cut. Okay, as you can see, I already have my P2 loaded into Xtool Creative Space. My Xtool is turned on. One thing I would like to note here is that Xtool Creative Space is 100% free. So all of these features that you have over here are all free to you. Just to give you an idea of what the Glowforge Creative Space looks like, this is what it looks like. Right now, I do not have my honeycomb tray in there because I was obviously showing you what it looks like in the P2. But all of these lines right here, that means that these are all paid for things. Now for both companies, you can upload your own SVG files that if like you would get it like Creative Fabrica, or if you created them yourself on like a different design program. But just know, if you wanted to do any design work inside your laser programs, the Xtool is completely free. Okay, so just for this first test cut, let's use some 3mm basswood. This is the stuff that Xtool sent me. I am just going to put this inside towards the middle of my bed. The Xtool P2 comes with these like clamp things. They may look like nothing. However, do you see how there's like a little bit of movement in this wood? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to clamp my material down onto my slat. What this does is hold my material into place. When you do this, see how there's no movement anymore? So A, it holds things into place. B, when your material doesn't move, you're gonna get a better quality cut and engrave. This is important. Now these little clamp things, over on the Glowforge, they're called honeycomb pins. Those are not included with your Glowforge. You would have to create the file and cut those files using your own scrap material. Okay, so let's shut the lid to the P2. And we are going to come over here to refresh, and we're going to refresh the image. So now this is our piece of 3mm wood. Why don't we just insert a shape, and we'll do a heart. I love hearts, so let's insert a heart. Okay, I'm going to put this over here. Let's just make it a little bit bigger. Okay, very first thing I want to do is I'm going to be going over here into the slats flat. I'm going to go into material, and because I'm using Xtool material, they already have the settings pre-loaded on there. So I'm going to hit that 3mm basswood ply. Let's just do aimed measure. And I'm going to put it right on top of where I want to cut. Okay, so now that we have it all set up, we're going to click back over in that heart, and I'm going to go into cut. I want to cut this. All of the settings, I'm going to keep it the way it is because that's what Xtool is telling me I need to use to cut this wood. Okay, now that we have that done, we're just going to press process, and then we'll press start. Okay, and over on your Xtool, there is a button. You're going to want to press that. Okay, so this heart took 15 seconds to cut out. Now, this has 0 masking tape on it, and you'll see just a little bit of charring, but not a whole lot on the back. This is not bad. I always suggest masking all of your material, but this actually turned out really good. Okay, so now what I want to try is I'm going to try engraving. So I'm going to shut the lid to my Xtool. We're going to press OK on the Xtool Creative Space. Now you want to go up here to refresh. We're refreshing the bed image. There is our cut. So I'm just going to move this over just a little bit. Okay, inside of that, let's do a shape, and we're going to go down to, let's do this pattern right here. Okay, I'm going to change this pattern over to engrave, and I'm just going to make this larger. Okay, I actually want to put this pattern inside of my heart. So what I'm going to do is select both of these, copy and paste, and then I'm going to come up here into combined and then subtract. Okay, this right here I want to turn into an engrave again. I'm going to delete that pattern that I had. There we go. Okay, I'm going to select both the heart and that pattern, and I'm just going to align this to the center of the entire thing. Okay, now let's put this back here. Okay, so I have something to engrave, I have something to cut. Now let's go over into process, and then we're just going to press start. Okay, over on your machine, you want to press that button. Because I'm concerned about the loudness of the machines, this right here is telling me how loud the P2 is. we are going to take this same exact file and we'll take it over to the Glowforge, and I'll be able to tell you how loud it is next. Let's remember that the P2 took 4 minutes and 21 seconds to cut and engrave this heart. Okay, so now what we want to do is I'm going to move this over just to show you what it looks like, the finished file looks like. Open this up. Look at that, very minimal charring. I mean, this looks really, really good. Really good. I love the quality of the engrave. Man, this looks so good. Okay, because I want to do an apples to apples comparison with the P2 to the Glowforge, this is our file that we just used. I'm going to come over here into this file button and I'm going to do export as SVG. I'm going to rename my file and then just press save. Going into the Glowforge app, this is what it looks like. You can see that I already have the 3mm basswood plywood inside of my Glowforge, and then these things right here are honeycomb pins. That is what is holding the material in place. It's the same concept as the metal ones that the P2 came with. These ones right here, remember, you actually have to cut that. Okay, so I'm going to come over into the plus sign and I'm going to upload my file. This is that same file that we were using for the P2, and I'm just going to press upload. Okay, so this file is right here. I want to keep this to cut and I want to change this to engrave. Now for the material, let's just choose the basswood. Okay, when you use the Glowforge, you always want to do a set focus. So these 3 lines, we're going to set focus. I'm going to put it above the heart, just like how we did with the P2. Okay, it says it's ready. I'm just going to save on material and put it over here on the corner, just like we did with the one at the P2. Okay, then I'm going to press ready. This right here is going to tell me how long it's going to take. So remember what I said about that time. The P2 and that heart that we engraved, it took 4 minutes and 21 seconds. The Glowforge, it's going to take 9 minutes and 27 seconds. Okay, so the same thing with the P2. There is a button on the Glowforge. We're going to want to go and press that. Okay, so we just want to press the button. There is a definite decibel difference between the two machines. While we wait for the Glowforge to do its thing, why don't we go back over into the Xtool? And I actually downloaded an ornament that I wanted to cut. So I'm going to find that file and I'm going to drag and drop the SVG file into the creative space. Okay, this is going to pop up. This is going to be 5 inches high. So I'm going to come up here and I want to change it over to 4 inches. Okay, so these right here, I actually am going to cut on acrylic. So I'm just going to move these above here. This right here, I want to cut in the wood. However, all of this I want to engrave, so I'm going to select everything, deselect that heart. So this right here I want to set to engrave. We want to select that, set it to cut. Okay, so I am just going to move this over here and I can just delete this and this. I don't need that anymore. Let's just cut this part out right now. We're going to engrave the black and cut the heart out. We're just going to press process and then we're going to press start and then we're going to press the button on the P2. Okay, let's compare the hearts and the quality of cuts and engraves. So this right here was the one we did on the P2. This right here is what we did on the Xtool. You can see that there is a lot of charring here, not here. Let's flip this over. So remember what I said about the honeycomb tray and how more metal equals more chances of flashback. This is what flashback is. So on the back, there's going to be more opportunities to have metal touch your piece, and so you're going to have more flashback. Versus something like this where there's only right here and right here, and that's because, see, there's only 2 slats here. These 2 slats is where you have the flashback. So less metal equals less chances of flashback. Okay, we have the heart done. I'm going to slide these out, because I did say I want to do the back in wood. So I have this right here. This is this wood ornament that I had just cut and engraved. Look at how cute that is. Looks so cute. This is with zero masking. Generally, I suggest is mask material. Okay, I have a scrap piece of white acrylic and it should fit on there. So we're gonna put that in there. And then for the cardinal, I'm just going to use a little piece of red. So I'm going to put these in there together. Close the lid to the Xtool. We're going to press OK on the Xtool Creative Space. I'm going to move these two things over here. We're going to refresh the bed. Okay, now because I am going to be doing like a really, really tight fit for this white, I'm going to go over here and capture close view, and I'm just going to go like that. Okay, the one thing to know about the Xtool is that it actually has two cameras. It has a further away camera and then an up close camera. The Glowforge only has one, and it's a fishbowl lens. So it looks like everything is going to fit right here. Oh, I did forget a step. We want to change the material over to, let's do 3mm black acrylic. It's not black, but let's just try it and see if it works. Okay, I'm going to take this little cardinal and I'm going to put it onto my acrylic just like this. Let's do that aimed measure. We'll aimed measure on top of that ornament. All right, like it. So this is set to, it's set to score, so let's go into cut, and then we're going to use this one right here and we're going to set it to cut as well. Then what you want to do is just press process and press start, pressing that button on your P2. Okay, so this cutout took 1 minute and 22 seconds, and there's actually very little smell that happened here. Okay, so see this like little cardinal? It's just going to pop right out. Look at that, with like 0 charring on this thing. Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll open this up. And see how all these little pieces are falling through here? So these little pieces, if you needed them, or if you just wanted to clean your tray, you would just pull these slats out, pick up your pieces, and put the slats back in. Okay, here is our finished acrylic cutouts. I'm going to be able to glue these on top of each other like this to have one finished ornament. So I'm not going to cut this out on my Glowforge, but I am curious on how long the pieces of acrylic would take to cut. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to do export as SVG, and I'm going to save that file. Okay, I am going to upload that file that we saved. Okay, I uploaded the file that we saved on here, and I don't want that one, so I'm just going to move that over. Let's just put this over here. I am not going to cut these. I am just going to see how long it would take for it to cut. Okay, so let's go into material. We'll choose the material, and then we'll go over here and press ready. So the Glowforge will be able to tell me at this point like how long is it going to take. So it was about 1 minute and 20 seconds with the P2. It is going to be 2 minutes and 14 seconds with the Glowforge, so almost 1 minute quicker with the P2. So just in time alone, this is amazing. All I'm going to do is just press cancel. Okay, so I went ahead and glued my ornament. It is still wet, but look at that. That is so stinking cute, and this was like under 5 minutes from start to finish. So this machine is definitely amazing. Okay, there is a couple things that I would like to know because it is definitely not covered in the unboxings, but it's definitely something that is big for the apples to apples comparison between the Glowforge and the P2. Okay, one thing that was not covered is if you could do round objects like engraving tumblers or anything round. The Glowforge cannot do that. Now, I have seen people cut the bottoms out of their Glowforge and kind of rig it so it can. If that is what you're interested in doing, then you can totally do that. But as the machine sits, you cannot engrave on round or tumblers in the Glowforge. However, with the P2, if you had the riser base, you could also get the rotary attachment, and you could do round things like baseballs, tumblers, wine glasses, you name it, anything round you can do with the P2. The other thing that I would like to note is that I had said the riser base. The riser base is actually really cool. Now with the Glowforge, there's 0 options of having a riser base. So you're limited to 1.5 inches thickness of what you can set into your machine. If you had the riser base with the P2, you can extend your engraving depth by a ton, a lot. I'm not quite sure. I'm not entirely sure what the exact measurements is, but I believe it's like 6 inches. So you could put something in there. We're saying like a jewelry box. If you want to engrave like a really thick jewelry box, you can put that in your P2 because you have that riser base. The riser base is key for this. The other thing that is very big in difference between the two machines is Wi-Fi capabilities. So both machines can be hooked up via Wi-Fi. However, the P2 you can run offline. So if you don't have internet for whatever reason, you can still use your P2 because you don't need internet to run it. You can just plug it into your computer and design and go and never need internet. If you do not have internet, you cannot run your Glowforge. So that is like a very, very big difference. Okay, for someone like me who has owned quite a few lasers, and I am a laser hoarder at this point. Actually, I take that back. I am a crafting hoarder at this point. But for someone that has used a lot of lasers and have been around the laser community, what my opinion is and what I think that you should buy. The one machine that gives you the most bang for your buck would be the P2 because of the size capabilities, the depth capabilities, the fact that you can do rotary. The sound is nearly the same. The P2 is just a hair quieter. The customer service on both companies is about the same. The warranty is about the same. So really what we're talking about is the machine and its capabilities. And the P2 definitely has more capabilities. So for someone like me, if I was out looking for a new machine and I have no idea, I've never tested out a laser cutter, I have no idea what I'm doing, I would definitely go with the Xtool P2 just because it gives you more bang for your buck. And then you don't have to register for a design program because it's all for free. If you have any questions about the Xtool P2, please leave it in the comments of this video. Chances are, if you have questions about it, somebody else does too. So leaving all your questions inside the P2 can not only work as a forum for me, for you, and for other viewers, but also as like a community board, because it is amazing what happens in the comments of all the videos. If you have questions, someone else might have the answer to it, and it could just be like a big old community board. So again, please, if you have any questions, comments, or anything, please leave it in the comments of this video, just so it helps me and it also helps you and it helps other people too watching these unboxing videos. All right, y'all, I sure hope I inspired you to create, and I'll see you later.